Over their 121 season history, the New York Yankees have won 27 World Series championships and 40 pennants, thanks in large part to supreme talents like Ruth, Gehrig, DiMaggio, Mantle, Munson, and Jackson. New York's most recent run of dominance in the late 1990s and early 2000s featured legendary players such as the core four of Derek Jeter, Mariano Rivera, Jorge Posada, and Andy Pettitte. But there were also other less celebrated individuals who made critical contributions both on and off the field. While there were many high points for those Yankees teams, it could be argued that their finest hour came in 1998. The club won 114 regular season contests and went on to win the World Series against the San Diego Padres with a sweep. As we approach the 25th anniversary of the 98 championship, it feels like an appropriate time to dissect why that team was able to rise to the top of the heap. In doing so, we may just notice some things that the current Bombers could hold on to as they seemingly enter a quasi-rebuild in hopes of eventually attaining the franchise's 28th World Series title. Any story regarding the 1998 Yankees that's worth its salt calls for a moment to reflect on the 97 campaign. Following their 1996 World Series victory over the Atlanta Braves, the expectations for 1997 were through the roof. However, New York was bounced in the ALDS by the then Cleveland Indians in 5 games. The most crushing moment came in Game 4 when Sandy Alomar Jr. cranked a game-tying home run off of Mariano Rivera. At the time of the blast, New York led the series 2-1, but they lose Game 4 by a final of 3-2 and drop Game 5 4-3, ending their season. At September's Old Timers Day celebration, Rivera mentioned that the sour ending motivated both him and the team to come back the following spring ready to win.
We're talking about 97. I wish we start playing the next day, 98 season, because, I mean, it was the heart. But we take our beating, and we came ready in 98.
The 98 team looked very similar to the 96 and 97 units on paper, but New York received great productivity from 2 new additions, third baseman Scott Brosius and starting pitcher Orlando Hernandez. Brosius was considered to be a solid defender in Oakland before arriving in New York, but his bat was a major question mark, especially given he was going to have to partially replace the offensive production that the Bombers had gotten from Wade Boggs and Charlie Hayes. Yankees general manager Bob Watson and the rest of the front office were ahead of the curve. Brosius played well during his first year in pinstripes and set career highs in both RBIs and doubles. Further, Brosius was the 1998 World Series MVP after hitting .471 with 2 home runs and 6 RBIs. Orlando Hernandez, or El Duque, was only a rookie in 1998 and didn't make his debut until June of that season. However, the Cuban-born righty rose to the occasion and posted a 12-4 record with a 3.13 ERA while finishing 4th in the American League Rookie of the Year voting. When October came, El Duque seemingly raised his level. He surrendered only 1 run in 14 innings of postseason work and looked right at home alongside starters like Andy Pettitte, David Cone, and David Wells. As for the team's holistic lineup, New York was one of the most potent attacks in all of baseball. They were first in RBIs and on-base percentage and had the most hits and 3rd best average with runners in scoring position. Derek Jeter, Bernie Williams, Jorge Posada, Tino Martinez, Paul O'Neill, and others played with the sort of power, speed, and resilience that made the team hard to keep up with. So we know about the 98 Yankees' experience and unsung heroes, as well as the offensive firepower that helped them outslug opponents night in and night out. It would seem that there are some key things the current Yankees could learn from here. From an organizational standpoint, it takes the right type of people to find, assess, acquire, and develop talent. Trading for a wild card like Scott Brosius and utilizing the international market to find a pitcher like El Duque is no small feat. Sometimes this kind of roster construction takes multiple voices who may have different views on what makes for a good ball player. As mentioned, GM Bob Watson traded for Brocious, and it was current Yankees general manager Brian Cashman who signed Hernandez shortly thereafter. On a broader level, it was not Watson, Cashman, or even George Steinbrenner who discovered the core four. That accomplishment is attributed to Gene Stick Michael, who was the Yankees GM from 1990 to 1995. Michael either drafted or signed each member of the illustrious group. The current Bombers may need new voices to help find new players and develop the young studs that they already have. This could mean a change at GM, but could also just call for a serious philosophical overhaul. It remains to be seen if one could even happen without the other. When it comes to factors like experience and offensive grit, the 1998 Yankees were greatly helped by the culture that both their players and coaches cultivated. The goal of winning each and every day was key for manager Joe Torre, and during this year's Old Timers Day, he made sure to mention that the 98 team was a fiery bunch that wanted to play hard for each other and, in some cases, fight for each other.
I don't think you can go through life by yourself, much less try to go out there and win a ball game by yourself. But these guys really pull together and pull for each other, which, I found, just terrific to watch and be a part of.
Such a culture makes situational hitting a priority and requires everyone to be all in. Aaron Boone or whoever else may be the Yankees manager in the future will have to try and mold a similar environment and allow Captain Aaron Judge to take a pivotal role in helping youngsters like Jason Dominguez, Anthony Volpe, Everson Pereira, Austin Wells, and Oswald Peraza become more comfortable in the bigs. There is no one-size-fits-all solution when it comes to building a championship contender, but the 1998 New York Yankees should be viewed as a respected blueprint. If the Pinstripes are going to complete the chase for 28 anytime in the future, they may have to heed the lessons of their past. With WFUV Sports, I'm Colin Loughran.